Hello, everybody in Hobbyland. This is Hobby Hotline. This is episode number 336, which, wow, 336 episodes of this. Wonder if there's anybody out there that's actually watched every one of these.
Every single one. That'd be crazy.
Anyway, I'm Chris Harris. I am pinch hitting today, and I'm joined by Sam Evans, sports card collector, and a guy that I've been following for a while now, Alex Tressler, former one of the old OG YouTube guys from a dozen or so years ago. And also, fun fact, fellow military veteran and fellow air traffic control guy, Alex Tressler, Army ATC 22. How's everybody doing this week?
Doing good. Still on a what I call a nostalgic roller coaster. Me and Alex actually had the same experience. So just still living in the moment and like reminiscing on all the things that I seen, saw, and just heard. And it's been fun. It's been fun.
Yeah, if you're not tracking, Samuel's talking about the Philly show. We were at the Philly show this past weekend. You know, it's a month after they won the Super Bowl. They had a card show in their backyard with over half the players there. Yeah. The community came out. It was buzzing. It was very, very grateful that I was in that space and got to see all the collectors there. And, you know, it literally, we kept saying it because it was like almost a mini national.
It was Eagles Con.
It was Eagles Con. That's what it was. Because you know the amount of people and stuff. It's like, you know, it's realistically kicking off our road to the national that's going to be happening, and you know, in a few months. Seeing a lot of the same individuals that we see at other shows and stuff, and some we don't see that actually took the drive to get there and everything, and I loved it.
Yeah, no, it was amazing, and like super diverse crowd. You've seen people from all walks of life. A lot of people from Philadelphia actually came out. I was talking to a lot of people who like made the drive, and I also think the show was very intentional about just like certain days they had certain athletes and having that like real connection to Philly, the city of Philadelphia, because the card show isn't in the city of Philadelphia. So like having Gilly there was awesome. That was a good pitch, and it was super exciting to just be in that space, and it was fun, man. It was fun. There was a lot of people there.
Not gonna lie, this comment was saying the second Philly show had 3,150 for attendance in 1976. That's actually a lot for today's type of shows. Like, you know, even back then, you know, it was a smaller show back in the 70s, but over 3,000 people coming through that door at any show these days is actually, I think, a decent sized number. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I as I caught, like, it took video of like the opening. Normally, when you come into the Philly show, it's like they don't have like aisles set up. They had literally 4 aisles set up, and they had multiple people out there checking like wristbands for everybody to come in, and the line took up the whole walkway, and it was like out the door and around the corner. And normally for like shows, they have people all wrapped around in that little room, but there was like a gymnastic event going on there. But it was crazy. It was a lot of people there, and a lot of good like energy and like the patience that a lot of people showed to like just wait for their moment. And like some of the athletes, they did a great job, especially like Brandon Graham. He had over like 450 people buy an autograph, and he created the moment with each person, and it was just like magical. It was magical to see that mix of like, I'm a sports fan, but I'm also a collector, and all these worlds just come together to create that.
Let's all wave to everyone in Indiana and Michigan. What up? What up? It's in on our shops. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm old enough to remember when the Philly show was in the George Washington Motor Lodge, which it was a dump. It's no longer there. The Fort Washington Expo Center.
I heard about that.
It was up in Reading for a while.
Yeah.
and at the Valley Forge Casino. I've never seen a Philly show crowd like this. And I would suspect that a lot of the folks there, and you could probably tell, weren't there for the cards per se. They were there for the autographs. And, I got credit to the promoters because originally, I think Andre Dawson and Wade Boggs and a few other baseball guys were scheduled to sign. And when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they canceled those and just loaded up with Eagles.
No, it was supposed to be a heavy baseball show.
Yeah.
And like to your point you made, like, yes, a lot of people came there for autographs. And I think Alex, you could speak to this too, but just getting a sense of walking around the showroom, hearing conversations from dealers and talking to a few vendors who were there, a lot of them said, yo, I'm having a great show, especially on like a Friday night. This one dealer I was talking to, Matt, his whole showcase was bought out Friday night, and he had to like reload with just like some low end stuff because people were buying all his Kobe's and Michael Jordans from him. So definitely, it was a good show for the autographs, but definitely a good show for the vendors. Just the tone and tenor of what I was hearing from a lot of them.
Yeah, I agree. I talked to everyone there. There are the vendors there that come and they don't care if they sell one card. They just want to be, at a card show with their buddies, right?
Yep.
And the nostalgia of doing it for so long, and the friendships and the networking and everything. A lot of people, mistake the transactional side of this industry, thinking you got to make $1 when a lot of us, I'll eat the cost to have a good weekend with my friends at a card show. 100%, 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
Right. And everything. And it does get costly. You can't do it all the time, whatever. So you got to do some type of sales. And maybe that's, selling stuff, before the show, after the show, you're making those connections there can be more beneficial for you than actually making a sale at the show. But a lot of the people there, there's, yes, the autograph guests brought a lot of people to that show.
Did we lose them? To finish this point, the autographs did bring a lot of people to the show. And like there was this influx of people who started to collect because of that weekend.
Yeah. Who
like
may have
hearing
been
conversations of people who never bought cards before or wasn't into cards, and to have that opportunity to walk through that showroom floor and see their favorite players on cards and bringing those cards up to get autographed, or to like come back to that space, or after waiting for their number to be called to walk the showroom floor. A lot of people joined the hobby that weekend, and I think it was magical to see that.
Alex, you were making a point, but you froze up there for a second. Do you want to finish up for?
Yeah, I was talking about, a lot of the vendors want to come out and experience the show with their friends, and same thing as the hobbyists that are coming to the show that aren't setting up as vendors. They might be coming and seeing their buddies that are set up. A lot of these people do these, card show, circuits, and this is what they do for their life. And this is, they might have been retired and everything else. And, this is what they want to do. It's going out there networking, and you might be able to, use that, friendships and stuff to make deals down the road, not necessarily at the show. And, so you'd be like, hey, yeah, I didn't really do too well, but guess what? A month from now, I might make the biggest deal of my life because this person talked to me and he had stuff, at his house he couldn't bring.
Yep. Yeah, the wealth of conversations. Like, I think that's the true wealth of the hobby. No one really remembers how much money they made, but they remember the connections that they made with people.
Good point. Anybody out there also went to the Philly show? Feel free to call in. I dropped the link on the ticker below. What'd you guys pick up? Anything? Want to do a little show and tell, or?
So the show is so Friday night. The show was so crazy for me. Typically on and me and Alex, this is like our 5th show together, probably working shows together. So typically I don't buy cards on like Friday night. And because of the moment of like everything that I was seeing, I was like, I need to walk the showroom floor and just breathe the air of like cards. And I went on this like treasure hunt and I found this 1952 George Mikan Wheaties cereal box hand cut card. And this was like the last year Wheaties made these like card sets of like just the different athletes back then. And I found it from a dealer that I always buy cards from. Shout out to Great Moments Inc. And this is definitely one for the PC.
Yeah, so it's really hard to find my PC. A lot of people know my PC is Pat Tillman, but on the show floor there was multiple Pat Tillman cards, which I didn't have yet too. But you know, they're a little pricey and everything, so I decided to focus on one, and I got a nice 2019 Rookies and Stars. It's the hero. It's the actually Great American Heroes subset. It's the gold out of 10. So a lot of people don't know, like, from when he was in 2001, this is the first time he was back in products. In 2019, Rookies and Stars was the first time he was back in the products. And this is this very first gold parallel card ever. And so I had to scoop it up, you know, and it's an incredible card. I have other parallels of this, but I didn't have the gold. So it was pretty nice to see that on the floor.
And then my last pickup I will share. Anybody who knows me in the hobby world, they know how I feel about Wilt Chamberlain. So, you know, whenever I see like a Wilt Chamberlain card, because there's not many cards of him. Actually, there aren't any cards of him when he came back to the Sixers and won the NBA championship. So I saw this modern Panini card, and I was like, I mean, it's Wilt. He's got a Sixers uniform on, so I got to grab it.
All right. And I picked up a nice dent in my car on the way home. So,
oh, wow.
I ran over something on Route 1. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't even notice it until Monday. And so my car's been in the shop ever since, needing a new bumper. That's what I picked up at the Philly show this weekend.
Yeah.
And I, you know, picked up about a couple $100 worth of like dollar box and $5 box stuff.
I know somebody in the chat said Mookie Chill's son. He said Principal Evans see any kids at the Philly show. There were definitely a lot of kids there this year. A lot of kids there.
Tell them about the experience. Hey Samuel, tell them about the experience about you being on the news and them seeing you and then calling you.
Oh yeah, so I got interviewed by like CBS News, and a lot of my students for some reason were watching the news that morning, and a bunch of them was sending me emails saying, "Mr. Evans, I saw you on the news this morning." So it was kind of cool to know that they're involved in current events and they're staying in tune with what's going on in the world. So it was a cool moment. Cool moment.
All right.
Also, trade night was fun too. Trade night was a happening time. Alex and I did a lot of trivia stuff with the kids, and it was awesome. It was
we
awesome.
changed it up. We changed it up because me and Samuel usually do some stuff, whatever. We switched it up. We had him go on a scavenger hunt. You know, shout out to Wax Stars, you know, Dave Marino and everything with them, you know, putting together a great trade night. Santiago Sports, you know, they put on great trade night. Whole bunch, they meant 20, 30 pizzas they brought in for people to have food, and everything. But there's a lot of wax, a lot of boxes that they gave out too. So Samuel's always been the person to head that up and everything with, you know, with his vice principal to help him out and everything. So
hobby vice principal.
I was just like, why don't we send him on a scavenger hunt and someone find a numbered card, like find a numbered, you know, 13 of 100 or 99, and first one to bring it up, you know, gets it. And the kids were running around everywhere. It was so cool to see.
It was awesome. It was a magical time, and like that just goes to show like the next generation who comes after us when we're all old and gray and passing out collections on, and Javi's going to be in a good space.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know when the next Philly show is?
It's not till September.
September.
Yeah. Okay, they have a big gap.
September and then December.
Yeah, they have a big gap
for the national.
They have the national, and then CSA's also because it kind of in ties whatever, Joe, who runs the Philly show, also is partners with, runs the CSA show. And so they give that, CSA do a couple shows, and then the national, of course, and then Philly show, then CSA, then the Philly show again. So, trying to keep that.
I encourage a lot of people that have never been to the Philly show. It's worth the trip. Would you gentlemen agree? Even just to fly in.
I've tried to think, like, I don't know on the East Coast what is a bigger maybe that no, there's over 1,000. No, Chantilly's not bigger, so there's over 1,000 tables at the Philly show. So I'm almost positive
National would be bigger?
It's bigger than East Coast National. I was up there in January. It might be one of the biggest, if not the biggest show on the East Coast. Like, people in the chat can probably, tell me I'm wrong and everything, but just thinking out loud and stuff, it might possibly be the biggest show on the East Coast.
And like, to your point, as it being the biggest show on the East Coast, Joe and all them, they're really like doing some forward thinking to make it an experience, especially for like just a different demographic, and thinking about like, how can we make this fun for kids and everything. So they're doing a lot of work and having a lot of good conversations to like have it not be just any typical like regional card show.
Yeah. All right. I had a comment in the chat here from Rex of the Baseball Card Shop. Do you have any thoughts about the Fanatics antitrust case you can share? So, for people that follow me on social media, they may know that for the last 12 and a half years, I've worked for the Federal Trade Commission as an economic analyst in antitrust. And I recently decided to take the Trump buyout. Getting paid to sit on your duff for 7 months, can't beat it. But the one thing is, because I'm no longer employed by the FTC, I can now comment on things like this. So, yeah. In case you missed it this week, let me share something with you. You all see that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Panini's antitrust case against Fanatics is allowed to proceed. So 2 years ago, Panini sued Fanatics for antitrust. And it's been kind of snaking its way through the judicial system ever since. District Court judge in the Southern District of New York allowed the bulk of Panini's antitrust case against Fanatics to proceed on Monday. In the latest development in a contentious legal battle, the dispute began in 2023 when Panini alleged Fanatics engaged in monopolistic practices to corner the market in the trading card industry, which I think is kind of ironic because before Fanatics came on the scene, it was Panini that was trying to monopolize the trading card industry.
2011-ish, 10, 11-ish.
Yeah. Shortly thereafter, Fanatics countersued for unfair competition and tortuous interference. Panini's complaint rose out of Fanatics' entry into the sports card. In a countersuit, Fanatics argued Panini had no ground to stand on by pushing back on the claims of success wasn't really a result of monopolistic practices, but rather due to Panini's incompetency, which Panini holds the rights to produce NFL and NBA trading cards. both sports beginning in 2026. David Boies. I don't know if you know who David Boies is, but this guy is a real high-power lawyer that Panini has hired. He was the guy that litigated the Bush v. Gore case for Al Gore. And even though he lost, but that should show you how much of a respected lawyer this guy is. The court's decision finding that Panini had properly alleged Fanatics' violation of the antitrust laws allows us to move forward with this case, which seeks to preserve competition in the sports card trading card business. Fanatics did have some wins. Panini claimed it was an antitrust violation for Fanatics to buy Topps. The judge dismissed that by saying that Fanatics' acquisition of Topps could not plausibly cause antitrust harm to Panini, and so Panini stacked lock standing to bring this claim. Other than the fact that Topps, has an exclusive license to make baseball cards, I don't get that claim. Judge also dismissed many of Panini's claims around allegations of tortious interference as it relates to the contracts of employees that were hired for Fanatics. Much of the claim, in a statement, Panini, we are pleased that the court has already rejected a number of Panini's claims and is allowing Fanatics' case against Panini to move forward. Unlike Panini's baseless allegations, we look forward to presenting actual evidence about how in just a few short years we have materially grown the hobby through investments, innovations, blah, 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 better products. Yeah, okay, pal. And marketing and a relentless focus around, whatever, guys. Okay. So, all right. 2 years, it's been snaking around the judicial system. I still think I'm still hoping Panini wins in the hopes that there can at least be a second licensee in every sport. You guys have any thoughts on this case?
So my thought process is this. Sorry, Sam. My thought process is this. Even if they do, right, Panini does win, they still have to have an agreement with those the NFL, the MLB. They still got to have agreements with them, and honestly, they can be like, no, we don't want to pay both. We don't want to pay Topps. We don't want to pay, Panini too at the same time. So I think it doesn't matter anyways. Honestly, the NFL and all the players associations also, they're going a certain route too. On top of, them saying, okay, we can have this, they still need to have these actual agencies want to work with them also.
I say two things, and I'm not an expert in the whole law side, but when this first came out, the lever that I saw right away was the Players Association and that equity piece. That equity slice is vital because it allows them to generate revenue when their playing career is over. And what we see how the card industry is going with relics and players who retired and everything, you know what I mean? So, and then the other side of me thinks back to the 90s, and this is the collector in me. I think back to a time where everybody had the license. And I think it fueled innovation, it fueled forward thinking, creativity, and it allowed us to reimagine cards from just this traditional piece of cardboard, and it became these images of where we can hold it up and we could see different things, and it was 3D and it was all these different things. So that's my one thought where I say you know what, why not allow people to have all the license, to share the license so we can get that creativity. Because I think in the 90s, we had the best decade of insert cards from all companies. And it was this this huge competition to see who can be the most innovative and most creative. And but that equity slice is that equity piece and that revenue piece for the Players Association, that's hard for them to like walk away from. And that's why I think a lot of them are aligning themselves with Topps Fanatics.
Well, so on top of that, I'm gonna throw in that third person. It's like all this is happening between Topps, Fanatics and Panini and everything. All at the same time, Leaf is still doing, tons of stuff with these players that are in just Topps products or just Panini products and everything. They're having all these cards with these autos and stuff like whatever, Leaf does with being able to, deal with these players and everything else, because they're not dealing with the companies, with the actual, NFL, MLB and stuff like that, but they're working directly with the players. It's just like, why isn't one of the other following the same suit, like the model that they have? Like, it's just just mind-boggling to me.
No, Leaf has found their market. They found their model, and they stick to it, and people buy it.
Well, they do. It's just like so. For example, like Shadur Sanders isn't going to be in any Panini products at all because he's an exclusive to Fanatics, right? Well, he has Leaf autos, right? So how is it he has Leaf but not Panini? What type of contracts and stuff is that happening? Why isn't he in there also? Those type of individuals, it's just wild that Leaf has been able to do it, which is great. I love Leaf stuff. I have no problem. An auto's an auto to me, no matter what it is. It's. I mean, I've always
even
said
if it doesn't have a logo on it.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what the product is, depending on what it looks like and stuff, depending on the angles, right? That's why the difference between
as long as it ain't Topps Chrome,
right? No, so that's what I was getting ready to say. Topps Chrome basketball looked horrible this year because all the logos are on the jerseys, and it's hard to get away from that. Chrome football still's but it looked better because the logos are usually on the helmets, and if you're like this way, you can't really see the helmets. You're not seeing the logos that much. So it made it more presentable with Finest and all the football products that they're starting to come out with Topps. Compared to the basketball, it's just like, yeah, they're playing pickup games, in the backyard, when they're doing that photo shoot.
Trash. They were trash.
But Leaf somehow's coming in there. I've always said, if you want a Steph Curry auto, go into Leaf products and get one for cheap compared to thousands of dollars to the ones in his Warrior uniform.
And like, to your point, I can infer that there's probably some clause in those like exclusive Fanatics contracts where it's not necessarily like some 360 bill, but they probably have some like avenue where like if I have the leeway to like put myself in another product, but you'll be my main, distributor or main person. I mean, that's what I can infer. If folks are like exclusive to Fanatics, but we see them in these other products that are coming out, because I don't hear Fanatics complaining about it, so I don't know.
If I want Leafs, I'll go clean the pool. But
that's right.
I mean, I'm not a Leaf buyer, but
that's why this industry is great. You can buy what you love, collect what you want,
what you like.
I mean, even at trade night, when we had that Leaf product up there, that was the first thing that the kids grabbed, right? When we did our first giveaway, that was the first thing that won. This exclusive Leaf product.
It's also the one. It's also the one that had the guaranteed autos in it. So
yeah.
So I think I speak for a lot of collectors when I say that in a perfect world, there would be more than one licensee per sport. So Fanatics, Panini, and Upper Deck would have licenses in more than one sport.
Yeah.
Are you guys gamers by any chance?
Once in a blue moon, I jump on my PlayStation.
Do you remember like 20 years ago when there was Madden and 2K football?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like I remember NBA 2K, NBA Live. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So one year 2K, I think it was NFL 2K5 came out, and it just blew away Madden. it's still considered by a lot of gamers to be the greatest football game of all time, even though it's 20 years old.
Yeah.
But EA didn't particularly care for that, and they backed up the Brinks truck and paid for an exclusive license. And it's been Madden ever since. And that was really the beginning when leagues figured out that licensees were willing to pay a premium for exclusivity.
It's true.
And not that long after that, you had Topps making the deal with MLB. You had Panini come in and get the basketball license. I believe by this time, Upper Deck had the hockey license. So
yeah,
regardless of we in the hobby and what we collectors want, it's going to be exclusive licensing whether we like it or not.
I don't think Upper Deck had the hockey yet. I don't think Upper Deck had it because Panini had a nice little stint that they did hockey too.
Well, there was a brief period where the NHL did give 2 licenses.
Yeah.
But I believe before that and after that, Upper Deck had an exclusive NHL license. So
the collector in me would love to see Upper Deck make hockey cards simply because they have flares and skyboxes like catalog. And if to see like them do basketball and to go inside that like treasure box and pull out some of those like, nostalgic themes that they had, that Flair had, that Skybox had, and that I would love to see that in a modern card.
It's funny you should say that, because this is a good transition into our next topic, and that is this week Upper Deck released a Skybox themed hockey card set. They released 2023-24 Skybox EX 2000 hockey. Now, I don't know if I'm wrong or anything, but I seem to believe that it's March 15th of 2025. And that means that 2025 is almost a quarter over, and that the 2024-2025 NHL season is about 2/3 over, and yet we're getting a 2023 hockey product.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm not mistaken,
and that's not all, because there are, by my count, at least 2 other quote unquote 2023 hockey card sets that Upper Deck is releasing in the next couple of weeks. There's Premier Hockey on the 19th and Ultimate Collection on the 24th.
We also had to
let them get away with this.
Well, the same thing is, didn't Series 1 or 2 just come out too of 24-25? Of hockey, literally, it was within 2 weeks of each other. Like it's just wild.
Has the new Flyers rookie in there?
And I understand that during the pandemic, it kind of for a while had issues with with production and schedules, so that we did see for a couple of years sets be delayed for a while, but the pandemic's over now. I mean, why are you calling this a 2023 product? You are not fooling anybody here.
No.
Yep. Same thing like we discussed ahead of time. Basketball's the same way. And I brought it up. Shout out to Blowout Cards for having their updated list of releases and everything in one spot. It's great. Flawless Basketball this year comes out April 30th. April 30th, 23-24. Before that is Immaculate Basketball 23-24, April 9th. Optic basketball this year for 24-25 comes out April 16th. And another, like, when I counted at the beginning of the year, we had first 9 products of 24-25 basketball came out before the last basketball product of 23-24 with Victor Wembanyama. It's wild that that's
so
happening.
I think to both of your points, can we agree that yes, we love the variety of all these like sets, but is sometimes less can be more.
Well, you got to think of the aspect for the companies. Like it's the business model. Like, yes, we want less to be more for us, but for them, if people are buying and people are opening it, like they're gonna make it until the way that stops is people will stop actually opening the product and let it sit there. But people like to buy singles. That's why the whole ecosystem of the industry, everyone, has people are fighting saying breakers are ruining the hobby. As someone that picks up singles all the time and doing stuff, let them be out there. Let them open the products for thousands of dollars, and then I can find those cards in dollar value bins down the road, right? It's fine with me and everything. So again, I believe the whole industry is a big ecosystem where the breakers are helping the singles industry. And if you want to take a stand, a lot of people just like, we need to revolt. We need to, hey, if we stop breaking Panini products, if we go on a strike with them, guess what? Then they'll eventually stop making it. Well, you need to do more than that. You need to not break. You need to not buy their singles anywhere and just let it sit, because then more people will stop breaking, stop opening product, and then it'll finally get to them. But that will never happen because there's just millions of people
there's just too many breakers that have to open this product.
Correct. So I guess we're going to have
business model, right?
Yep.
I guess we're going to have like 3 years of Caitlin Clark rookie cards too, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
Pretty much. Should these be considered rookie cards? Because, and I'm saying, this transition to another topic, 2024, quote unquote, Heritage High number comes out in a couple of weeks. It's been well over a year, almost a year and a month since 2024 Heritage Low Number Baseball came out. And this is usually around the time when 2025 Heritage comes out. Would you even consider a Paul Skeens rookie or any of the other rookies from this product to even be real, legitimate 2024 rookie cards? I don't.
No, I don't. That's why I don't buy modern cards.
So the thing is, so the problem is like right now, it comes out in 25, right? And everything. But the back of the card is going to say 2024. It was printed in 2024. 10 years from now, do you think someone's going to remember it came out in 2025? No.
Maybe.
Probably not.
Well, some people will, but majority won't. That's where the whole thought process of down the road, right? Everyone talks about investing and everything else. Those type of cards literally will be thought of, okay, no one's going to remember that it came out halfway through the year in 2025 when it was a 24 product. So currently, yes, I feel like, it's hard to a hard pill to swallow that, these products are coming out after series 1 of 25 has already came out, right? And everything. So, yeah, I think in the long run, truthfully doesn't matter. Now, it's a product, the high number stuff, depending on if it's short printed and everything else, rainy autos or whatever like that, those hold more value. But the regular base cards, eventually down the road, I don't think they'll really hold that much value anyways.
Come on, protect the base card, Alex.
Hey, I have. There's a difference between a base card and a rookie card.
Yeah.
The other problem that I have with this product is that it's based on the 75 Topps design. You all remember the 75 Topps high numbers, right?
No, I'm trying to
see if I got one around me.
There were none.
Oh.
It was a single series that year.
Ooh.
So why do we have high number now, other than
more money
grab?
More money.
Yeah.
I actually wrote something for Hobby News Daily last year about how Topps just doesn't really care much about heritage anymore. And I think the existence of a high number product based on a set that didn't have a high number series just kind of adds more fuel to the fire for me. So let's see. Let's go into the chat for a moment. Breakers are breaking the hobby. Yeah, okay. We need 6,000 plus rookie cards for everyone. Okay, if it says rookie on it, I want it. Well, then just put rookie on everything then. Let's put rookies on like second and third year cards. Let's have Topps make 1950 Bowman Chrome in 2025. That way it'll be the real Mickey Mantle rookie card. I wouldn't put it past them to actually do that.
Well, I mean, they did have, Topps made the first Bowmans of Babe Ruth and everything. So,
good point, Alex. Years from now, no one will care when it was printed. Okay. Not all collectors are stupid, but there are some. Come on. Foul ball.
We all have our tendencies. Like I'm not gonna lie, I've had my stupid times myself.
One last topic that I had. I don't know if you saw this, but there's something that Topps is coming out with in a couple of weeks called Series 1 Celebration. And the more I look into it, they haven't released the checklist, and they really haven't released much about it. But to me, this looks like the return of opening day just under another name, because it's going to be basically like opening day was back in the day, a rehash of the flagship set. Same cards, same design. I don't know if they're going to put a little opening day or celebration logo on it. They're going to have mascot inserts and whatnot. My question to you is, and to the chat, products like this that are obviously geared toward kids, right? And it appears that this is going to be geared toward kids.
It's like big league.
Don't really have a strong track record in the hobby. I mean, I remember, I'm old enough to remember Triple Play. You remember Triple Play?
Yep.
This was Donruss's kiddie set.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cared. Opening Day in its original form was designed. It was, I believe that Topps was mandated to make this set because baseball wanted a product that was for the children, and kids didn't buy it. So I don't understand why they're bringing it back, even under a different name.
So by the looks of it,
what do you guys think of the concept of a kid-focused kiddie brand like this?
So by the looks of it, it's like retail exclusive, right? So it's going to be two formats, like little egg type of things, whatever. Then it's just going to be like a mega box. So I think it's trying to gear, I don't know if maybe they're bringing in the concept, hey, let's do this product, that doesn't have a lot of pizzazz, possibly not even resale value, whatever, but it's fun for the younger generation to find at Walmart, Target, and everything else, and let them open it, let it stay on the shelves and let them find it, rather than the scalpers coming in there and cleaning off the shelves. I believe, is that where the like dynasty patches and stuff for the mascots were coming out of? Yeah, so mascot cards actually are very people collect them. There's a lot of people that collect that type of stuff, so they're going after that niche of dynasty type of patch autos of these characters and everything, of these mascots for these teams. So I mean, is there a niche out there? I think they're going to see, right? They're going to see, that if see what traction it has and everything, and it's at that lower price point. I think Samuel said it, in the beginning, was possibly like another big league type of product, right? But
nobody bought Big League, though. That's the thing.
Not Big League either. Not even the influencers that run it themselves.
Yeah. I think of two things, right? Oftentimes when I go to card shows, I put on my educator hat and I tend to like read the room and think about the things that I see. I think kids gravitate towards the cards that they see if they have like a dad or uncle or a big brother, someone connected to and what they collect, and they look for those high end things. Going back to White Plains and even at the Philly show, I was just mesmerized about the amount of like the wealth of knowledge that kids are operating from when it comes to cards, comps, and the market value and all those different things. And then I also think about like proximity to people who want to get in cards, but they don't have that higher end access, because to a certain point, the hobby is a space and place of the have and have not. So I do think like organizations need to think about like just different levels of targeted marketing and their demographic and how they can like give them access to certain things. Because also too, traditionally, the hobby is a space and place where you start off with a certain set of cards, and one day you hope that you build them into the cards or the types of cards that you want in your collection. So I think they do have a space in place. I think it all boils down to how they, market them and get it into the hands of the people who actually want
them. I mean, all of that sounds nice, though, but why hasn't it worked before? Why didn't it work with opening day?
Yep.
I mean, that's accessible, but nobody bought it.
Okay.
So anyway, I've called up on the screen. This is the first look of the first ever MLB mascot patch autograph card, which feature mascot worn memorabilia and on-card autos, and will be found in Series 1 Celebration. And because I am a wise ass, I had to respond. You had autographed mascot relics in 22 opening day and 21 opening day and 2020 opening day and 2019 opening day and 2018 opening day. It's almost as if the guy who posted this had no idea of his own company's heritage.
No, probably been working there for a year.
Probably. My thoughts on this is I am not a kid. I'm a middle-aged man. But I used to be a kid. Okay? And when I was a kid, I didn't particularly like being condescended to and marketed to. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't really collect products like 1992 Topps Kids, which came out when I was 17 or 18. Maybe I was a little older for that. I didn't like opening day. I didn't like triple play. And I don't think the kids of today really want a product like this. They'd rather have the real Topps Series 1 than Series 1 Celebration. That's
I will push a little bit because, again, within that kid's social demographic, there are kids who, again, depending on their proximity to who they have driving their collecting experience, they tend to collect certain things. And I also think there is a target market of kids who don't have access to those higher end things. And I'm also drawn from my experience collecting, 28 plus years ago in North Philadelphia, where we didn't have a lot of access to certain things as it came to cards. We had the cards from Toys R Us. We didn't have local hobby stores. We didn't have the Beckett books and the card shows. So we created our own ecosystem, and the cards that floated through our ecosystem were the packs that we found at Kmart and Walmart and those big box stores that sold cards. So I think they do have a place, but it's a situation where, like, when you're creating this product, who do you have at the table that understands the different demographic of kids? Do you have educators at the table? Do you have people at the table who knows those worlds and knows how to market things and knows how to, like, make sure that we have this pipeline to get things into the hands that where it belongs to, so that way they can have these meaningful collecting experiences. So I think if they get more intentional with that process and making sure that you have the right people at the table, then you could see that generated success that we all hope for a kid to open up a pack who may not never see a high-end card, but they had this experience with this one-on-one auto. You know what I mean? So I just think they just need to do more intentional work.
Yeah, so I think
that's just me. That's just me as an educator and working with different groups of kids.
I think the marketing aspect. I don't know too many children in those ages that would actually, would like this product. Or probably not even one. Don't have a Facebook. Don't have Instagram themselves. Or they're probably their parents showing them the articles or the post saying, "Hey, do you think this would be cool?" I'll ask Samuel, like, being up in the Philly area, like getting an RPA or a patch auto of the Philly Fanatic, right? There is a lot of adults that actually would like that card, right? The San Diego Chicken, those. Yeah, I mean, seriously, those individuals, those mascots that have been big in Major League and stuff like that, do have a following and stuff. So I think there is that avenue. But the problem that I see with it is again, it's collect what you like and what you love and stuff like that. And just because there's so many, we see it, these shows, we see online, we see so many of these kids, they're walking up with their cases they can buy a house, like literally they can sell their case and buy multiple houses, right? And we think that that's the typical kid these days in this industry, and it's not. There's still a lot out there that are coming to the show. There's still a lot out there that I think wouldn't mind opening this, because one, it's at a price point that it's actually decent for them, and two, it could be fun, right? And I think they're going after that approach. Now, what Samuel's saying, like, maybe it was a day at Tops. Maybe, hey, bring your kids to work day, and they're like, bring them all to the conference room. Let's do a pitch to these kids from, that are the, of the family members of the people that work at Tops. What do you guys think? Would you like a product like this? And in that room, you'd probably have at least half of them say, well, what do you think the resale of that is, right? Depending on their age and everything. Because that's just the answer to everything these days, is like, how much can I make off of this stuff, and not actually truly collecting. So even though it might not, look good to you, again, someone out there, they might love it.
And to your point, like, again, I draw off, like, the organic experiences that I have created with cards. For example, like working in Chester as a high school principal, I was also a middle school principal at one of the middle schools. And I brought in a 5-row box of all my, like, 90s cards, all types of cards in there, modern, 90s, everything, and just set it on the table. And all my middle school boys and girls just gathered around and started pulling cards. And to see the joy and the excitement on their face of cards that probably don't worth, more than $1 or like 25 cents. Like, that was their moment to be a collector. That was their moment to experience something. So I think, again, if we have the right people in the room and we think intentionally about, like, who are we designing product for, there are all different levels to kids who collect. There are the kids with the cases who have enough that's worth a house, right? And there are kids who just love cards, and they may not be worth a lot of money, but it's their level that they're at now. So, we just got to make sure that way of collecting still happens, and it has a space in place, because we don't want to see another bubble bursting that happened in the 90s.
Well, I think that's happening Anyway, comment in the chat. I remember Collector's Choice. And Collector's Choice was kind of a kid-focused brand, but in a way it really wasn't, if you know what I mean. I miss Collector's Choice too. Let's see what else is in the chat here.
I mean, I remember the Toys R Us exclusive rookies baseball cards. You know what I mean? Like
the box sets.
Yeah. So,
what does Fanatic fur grow back? I guess. Vintage oddball card. Collect what others like. I was poor. Collector's Choice was my favorite. I just like Collector's Choice because it was a big comprehensive flagship set, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was like 700, 800 cards deep. I wish flagship Topps was like that. And I prefer Taster's Choice, good to the last drop. That's actually Maxwell House that was good to the last drop. Yeah. Okay. We are almost up on an hour, 57 minutes according to this clock in the corner of my screen. I guess we should probably wrap this up. I got nothing. I think I've gone through all the topics that have made news this week. Oh, there was one other thing that I saw that Topps just announced today, and that is the 6 major award winners from last season.
The gold
are all going to have a gold logo man on the back of their hat and on the back of their jersey. So the MVP winners, Ohtani, Judge, Chris Sale, who is the
I didn't see the whole list.
Yeah, so 6 players will have a gold logo man. Does this do anything for you? I mean,
well, it's from my aspect. One, did they say it's only going to be once? Or it's going to be throughout the year, right? They're going to have a gold logo.
It's going to be throughout the year, so
the whole year. So, and it specifically said it is a partnership with Fanatics and the MLB for them to take those and put them in the cards. Like, I wish a lot of these type of stuff wasn't just in the high end type of products, right? You know, that maybe one of them gets into series 2, right, and everything else like that, and you know, those type of products that everyone out there can truthfully afford. A lot of these bigger gimmick type of things end up going into these transcendent and multi-$1,000 boxes that people have to honestly find breakers and other ways to even have an opportunity to get them. So I think it's a cool concept, right? Because realistically, if you see one of those coming out, it's going to be probably game used. It's not going to be manufactured.
When you consider that these players go through dozens of jerseys and dozens of hats every year, there are going to be dozens of these gold logo man patches for each one of these players that are going to be out there. And one of the commenters, Mike Petty, said, I'm going to buy a hat with 6 logo men. I wouldn't be surprised in one of those high-end products like a Transcendent, you might see a card with 6 gold logo men on it. So,
well, remember the old Exquisite when Upper Deck first lost their license and they made the college Exquisite. Remember what was it? 4, 8, 12, like 16 autos of Jordan on one booklet card, 16 autos of LeBron on one booklet. Like, why?
Yeah,
like,
it's a waste of 15 stickers.
Yeah. I would say those would be nice, especially if on the back of the card it designates the game that they wore it, and especially if it was like a historical game where somebody got the cycle or hit a grand slam or something like that. So that would be cool.
6 patches on one side of the booklet, 6 little hologram stickers.
Yeah, the collector's dream said in the comments, collector's dream said in the comment, guys are changing out patches now. They're not just doing it now. I remember
they've been doing it for years.
Decade ago, remember there was so many people were showing the jumbo patch cards were really notorious for, people taking it out slightly or whatever. And then when they get to someone else, people finding on eBay the actual same serial number card and everything else like that. If you see a really nasty looking patch card and it's not numbered, it was probably faked and everything. And then people were seeing the foil on around like where the patches were dented in and stuff. So there was a huge problem about, it was like 2012 type of time frame and everything that people were exchanging more patches than normal.
Yeah. Wasn't one of LeBron exquisite patches changed? Like the 1s to 99? It was a one that was changed. You don't remember anything about that?
I think so, if I remember. I can't remember.
And then somebody got it graded through Beckett and found out,
Yeah, that's been happening for a long time. And people are like, well, does it matter? Then people want to make the argument, does it matter if it's not even a real game used jersey anyways? If it was just picked up at Walmart anyways.
Or it was one of those
Chris
NFL Premier.
Chris remembers me. Yeah, Mark Ingram with a million of them on top of him and stuff like that, right?
Saints jerseys at once.
Chris remembers a lot of stuff. I used to collect patches. Like that was my thing back in the day. I was like the 2008 Premier Baseball, 2007 Premier Baseball. The patches in those were just incredible. The dual patches, triples, and stuff like that. I collected so much of that stuff, and then eventually, went another direction and everything. But that is an argument for another day that people talk about game used, event used, and not by a specific player or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think we should put a nice big bow on this one, huh? We've gone over an hour. Let's see. Next week we have Logan Ward, Sam. Oh, not you, Sam. I think
me, Sam. I was filling in for somebody.
Yeah. Someone else and Chris Carlin are going to be here, so that should be a pretty good show. Any final thoughts, Sam?
The hobby is what you make it. Enjoy it, and just make sure you find your moments to laugh and listen. Cards are cards. Yeah, we put the value in it, so have fun.
Yep. Alex?
I'll say it anytime I, sign off anywhere, with these type of things, I'll say it. There is someone out there to talk to, no matter what, whatever what you're going through, what might be hard times, might be good times, reach out to someone. My line is always open. My inbox on Instagram is normally where you can find me and everything. If you need just a, vent, you need to, ask a few questions about something or, some advice or whatever, I'll give you whatever I can give you. But someone is out there that wants to see you wake up the next day. All right. So always remember, there are avenues out there, and don't go down the wrong path if you don't need to. And we all love you and collect what you want.
Yep. Good words to wrap up on. So that's it for this week. I want to thank Sam and Alex, and keep on rocking in the free world, folks, and stay hydrated. Later.